This is an island surrounded by water, big water, ocean water. Trust me, I'm like a smart person. I'm very consistent. I'm a very stable genius. I had the best words. Tolerated. I know words. Mike Pounds. I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges of the investigation. But there's no better word than stupid. Anonymous, really anonymous. I'm very highly educated. One of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water. I had the best words. God bless the United States.
Now witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station.
The Republican Party's racist.
Oh my God! He admitted!
Nation. What's up, everybody? It's Monday. You know what time it is. Time for more disaster, as usual. Hopefully everybody had a great holiday weekend. Like I said, we're back for a brand new week of, the normal stuff. We got dinner with white nationalists. Interesting stuff. We have, right-wingers basically, again, preaching Christian nationalism, which is essentially Nazism. So then we also are going to talk about Elon Musk and how apparently his definition of free speech isn't a good definition of free speech. It's actually not accurate at all. But I don't think that comes to anybody as a surprise here. But nonetheless, we got stories. We got fun. We got disaster. We got Mike Pillow. Yeah. All in the rundown today. So, yeah. Let's do it. Yeah, okay. Last Tuesday, news came out that former President Donald Trump wined and dined with white nationalist Nick Fuentes. Apparently, a guest of Kanye West at Mar-a-Lago. So, according to multiple news reports, let's go to the New York Times first. Mr. West traveled to meet with Mr. Trump at the club Mar-a-Lago and brought Mr. Fuentes along as a guest. Ah, yes. Let's just bring along. I mean, again, Kanye West, I don't want to call him Ye. I just don't, because it's a stupid name. Nonetheless, Mr. West. Well, anyway, he decides to bring along Nick Fuentes. Are you kidding me? Of all the people you could bring Candace. Oh, I'm sorry. Candace Owens isn't exactly friendly with Donald Trump now, so I guess you can't bring. Her. Oh, okay. I mean that's just. First of all, it's amazing, as some of you are already pointing out, bringing on someone who is an avowed racist doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But then again, it's Kanye or Ye, and he's not exactly entirely mentally there. And I am not saying that to be ableist. I'm saying that these are These are some wildly ridiculous decisions that definitely have to be a product of you not being able to use your brain. So, I mean, that's really, really terrible. But okay, anyway. Now, a source familiar with the dinner conversation. Oh boy, let's get into the dinner. So they're having dinner, okay? And apparently Donald Trump, according to a source, told Axios that Trump was very taken with the white nationalist Nick Fuentes, the Holocaust denier Nick Fuentes. And of course, to be fair, that's after Fuentes spent nearly the entire dinner kissing Donald Trump's ass. Apparently, that's all you have to do. Paraphrasing the conversation, the source said that Fuentes told the president that he preferred him to be authentic. Be Donald Trump. Be Donald Trump. Just be more Trumpy. Be more yourself. That's it. Be more yourself. And that's all you have to be. Just be more of you. Be more open with the racism, because I love the racism. And I love it when you say weirdo stuff that's about the Jews. Definitely love that, because again, he's Nick Fuentes. Now, Trump responded, "You like it better when I just speak off the cuff?" Fuentes replied that he did, calling Trump an amazing president when he was unrestrained. Unrestrained. And by the way, as one of you points out, that Kanye is bipolar, right? No, bipolar doesn't make you bring a white nationalist to, to dinner with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. There's something else going on here. I don't know what it is, but there's something deeply wrong with Kanye, more than just his brain. So, I'm not trying to blame it all on mental illness, but I think there is definitely something wrong with his thinking. Like he just doesn't. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a mental health specialist. It's crazy. But anyway, there's a lot of fawning back and forth, according to the source, which is great, wonderful. You just gotta love the white nationalists fawning over each other. That's gross. Very, very, very gross. But anyway, now and okay. So look, Trump loves Nick Fuentes for many different reasons, I would imagine. In fact, in one recent video, I showed you this. He argued that after the midterms, after a lot of the Donald Trump endorsed and supported candidates lost, we should just completely ignore democracy and not have voting anymore. We should just have a right-wing dictatorship, and that's it. So of course, that's why Donald Trump loves it, because Donald Trump wants to be a dictator. Just because he likes telling other people what to do. There's more. Fuentes did tell Trump that he was disappointed that he wasn't supportive enough openly of the Capitol rioters. Trump actually responded that he agreed, but was told that he would, by his advisors, that he needed to be more presidential, as he now refers to himself as a politician, which is actually interesting because, wait, I thought Donald Trump didn't want to be called a politician or referred to as a politician. And that, that MAGA loved him because he wasn't a politician. But of course, the reason that MAGA actually really loves Donald Trump, not because says he's not a politician. No, it's because Donald Trump basically ran on owning the libs. That's the big reason. He owns the libs. He gives his followers permission to be the worst people imaginable to anyone outside the in-group. It's funny when I hear, like people in MAGA saying, we're the most loving, kind, wonderful people. And I realize if you're in the club, if you're in the group, if you're in the cult, that's true. They are all very, very nice to each other. But when it comes to anybody outside the club, anyone outside the group, Well, there you go. So, again, Trump also gives platforms to the worst people, like Fuentes, gives them a platform, gives them cover. In fact, Trump asked if Fuentes was on social media, for example, Truth Social. Are you on Truth Social? Have you heard about it? It's fantastic. What is it?
Truth Central.
It's Truth Central, and it's very, very tremendous. You should be on Truth Central if you're not. Right? He said, "Yeah, of course, I'm a Truth Central social, sir. Of course. But I was banned from Getter." Trump asked whether it was because he was on the quote-unquote fringe of his supporter base. The source said Fuentes acknowledged that he was saying he's one of those people who got banned from everything. And for, of course, good reason. He is racist. He is anti-Semitic. Wants a dictatorship. He's anti-LGBT. He's an authoritarian. He doesn't believe in America. All that stuff. And I go back to Ye, right? Who apparently brought this guy along for some reason. Why is he traveling around with Ye? Apparently, it's been, noted that Ye is a huge anti-Semite, putting out weird anti-Semitic tweets, and also, according to former employees, had done and said very questionable things during interviews, all this stuff. And so when you look and when you really drill down into the far-right conspiracy theories, there's a lot of them. What does it always come down to? It always goes down to the Jews. That's it. And so that is something that Fuentes and Ye have in common, and Donald Trump as well. Because again, he's been noted as saying some pretty anti-Semitic things as well, and buying into those tropes and conspiracy theories. As such, by the way, Trump was very, very impressed with Fuentes, with sources telling the New York Times and Axios that at one point, Trump said of Fuentes, quote, "This guy, he gets me. He gets me. Oh, you see this guy? He gets me. He hates black people. I hate black people. Except for you, Kanye. You're one of the good ones. You're just one of the good ones. But everyone else. I hate the mainstream media. You hate the mainstream media. You like authoritarians? I am an authoritarian. You get me. I want to be in power. You want me in power. You understand me. The best people, the greatest people. And that really does show you and tell you everything you need to know about Donald Trump. Again, we already knew who Nick Fuentes is. If you've had the mispleasure of hearing about him before, if this is your first time, we've done some videos about him before. And they're pretty illuminating about how just much of a terrible person Fuentes is. And if you were an ally of Fuentes, if you're saying, oh, I like this guy, well, then, yeah, you're probably a terrible person too. All right, moving on. The honeymoon didn't last. So we'll go to that next story. Oh boy. Former President Donald Trump is now trying to defend his dinner with far-right Holocaust denier Nick Fuentes. Now, in a post on Truth Social, following media reports of the meeting that happened last Tuesday, where Kanye West, or Ye, was invited to the White House, I'm sorry, not White House, invited to Mar-a-Lago by former President Donald Trump. In order to have a little bit of a conversation, he decided to bring Fuentes with him. And apparently they had a fantastic time. It was a great time. They loved it. It was great. Except for later on when apparently Donald Trump allegedly screamed at Kanye. Whatever. Anyway, Here's what he said on True Social. This is Trump. Let me show you this. Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, asking me, I'm sorry, we have the, nope, got the right one. But apparently we're not on that yet. He said this on True Social. Kanye West very much wanted to visit Mar-a-Lago. Our dinner meeting was intended to be Kanye and me only, but he arrived with a guest whom I had never met and knew nothing about. He said that the meeting was intended for him to provide West with very much needed advice. I told him he should definitely not run for president. Any voters you may have should vote for Trump. Anyway, we got along great. He expressed no anti-Semitism. Okay. I love how he had to point that out. By the way, he was there, but he expressed zero anti-Semitism. None. Not even 1%. Oh, that's great. That's an accomplishment to point out. Really? Is that a thing to be touting? By the way, I had a dinner with a guy, and there was absolutely zero racism. Isn't that amazing? Wait, why? Is that like a weird flex? Why do we got to point that out? That's weird. That's definitely not a normal thing, okay? That said, he said, I appreciated all the nice things he said to me, said about me on Tucker Carlson. And there's that. Why wouldn't I agree to meet? Also, I didn't know Nick Fuentes. I didn't know him. He was, I thought he was there to bring me my coffee. I thought he was a coffee boy for Kanye. But I didn't know him. I didn't know who he was. I love how every time there's a controversial figure that meets with Donald Trump, he comes out later and he's like, I didn't know who that was. Who is that guy? Who is that person? I have no idea. I've never met him before. Don't know him. Never even heard of him. I've just been hiding out in the bunker the whole time. No idea. Oh, you're saying this guy was a white nationalist? Well, I had no idea. I didn't know those people in Charlottesville that were, chanting the Jews were not replaced. I didn't know that they were white nationalists. I didn't know that they were neo-Nazis. They were chanting, they're just chanting blood and soil. But there was good people on both sides, I hear. Really? And it's funny because usually when he said that, because it's not the first time he's used that defense, it'll come out later, it'll come out later that there are like selfies of them together. I don't know. Look, I don't think that, to be fair, Nick Fuentes has met Donald Trump before. I don't think this is the, I don't think they've had any other meetings before this. And I think, Fuentes was probably like weirdly starstruck. Oh my God, I get to meet the former president of the United States. Oh my God, I get to go to Mar-a-Lago. Right. But it is funny though. So anyway, yeah, he goes to Mar-a-Lago. West brings Fuentes, as I said. And then West apparently asked Trump to be his running mate. Because there's another, Yay 2024 fake run. And I think that's what it is. Just like the one in 2020. It's not a real run. Last time he didn't file paperwork. He's going to file paperwork this time? No. I don't believe it. Or I should say, I'll believe it when I see it. That said, apparently that caused Trump to scream at him. Hilarious. Then he puts out this tweet, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. That said, Ye, who said that Trump was really impressed with Nick Fuentes, and that he had also Trump had made derogatory remarks about his ex-wife. You know, oh, of course. They had to take some digs at Kim Kardashian. Let's be fair. I'm not a big fan of Kim Kardashian myself personally. I can't stand the reality show and like the super rich lifestyle and you know that's really my issue with her. Although I do give and I have given her some credit for some really good, you know, work on behalf of people who are wrongly imprisoned. I think that some of the pardons and that she had been able to convince Donald Trump to do were actually really good things. And so, you know, credit where credit is due, even though, as I said before, she's not exactly my favorite person. That said, going off and doing unhinged comments about her is ridiculous. Derogatory remarks, like, who cares? Like, why are you going after Ye's ex-wife? Especially with all the weirdo stuff that he has said about her and that relationship. It doesn't make any sense. And again, that's also where some of his anti-Semitic comments coming from. Weird. But that's okay. Like I said, that was on. That was right afterwards. Okay. So then we go here to Saturday. Another post on Truth Social. Take a look. So I help a seriously troubled man. You're right. Troubled. Who just happens to be black. What do you want, like, points? Is that like anti-racism points? Is that what this is? It's like there's a counter or something that every time you do something nice for a black person, that takes it. It's like, oh, you get plus 2 black points. Here you go. That, you know, you're only, you know, negative 5,700 in the hole, but those extra 2 points might help. So I help a seriously troubled man who just happens to be black. Yay, Kanye West, who has been decimated in his business and virtually everything else. And that's because of anti-Semitism. And who has always been good to me by allowing his request for a meeting at Mar-a-Lago alone, but it wasn't alone, so that I can give him very much needed advice. He shows up with 3 people, 2 of which I didn't know. The other political person who I haven't seen in years. I told him don't run for office. A total waste of time. Can't win. Fake news. Went crazy. You know why the news went crazy? Because it's a white nationalist. Now, the other 2 who went to the meeting, I actually forgot their names. These are just, you know, one's like a former person that worked on his campaign, and I forget the other person. They're not really important, but no, I don't think it's. I didn't see Milo Yiannopoulos there. I know some of you were asking. Alone besides the other people. It's true. But like, okay. I love what he said about going back to Fuentes, though. He emphasized he had no idea who Fuentes was. None. I don't know this guy. But then in another post, he said, or according to I should say a source there, he told Fuentes, "This guy gets me. This guy gets me," and that he was very impressed. This is according to Ye. Then he's also like, "I didn't know the guy though. I don't know who that guy is. I had no idea. He could have been Ye's coffee boy for all we know. I don't know." Well, it's funny because Trump should know him because Trump's friends know him. I mean, the Jason Miller, who was a former Trump staffer, runs Getter, personally banned Nick Fuentes from the platform. Knows who he is. There's a reason that he was banned. Okay, maybe he's just not good friends with Jason Miller, to be fair. What about Marjorie Greene? What about Paul Gosar? Who both happened to speak at a white supremacist conference organized by Fuentes earlier this year. We also know that Trump watches cable news. You know he does. I know he's always saying, oh, I don't watch him. I don't watch CNN failing. And then had admitted that he was like watching CNN because he directly responds to something someone said on CNN. He watches cable news religiously. He had an entire block of time when he was in the White House dedicated to tweeting and watching cable news. Executive time. Anybody remember executive time? I want executive time. That'd be great. Take like a 6-hour block out of your work day to go and do whatever the hell you want. Watch TV. Oh, wonderful. Executive time. That's what he had. So, of course, he still probably takes executive time because he doesn't have a job. Not president anymore. So, of course, he watches TV. And so, Nick Fuentes has been reported about on TV. He's had to have seen him before. But again, to say he doesn't know who Fuentes is, come on. And by the way, Fuentes himself kind of alluded to the fact that's not entirely true. He said, quote, I don't think he knew that I was me at the dinner, at least initially. Interesting. Let's put it that way. I don't know if I'm going to say he didn't know me. I'm not sure about that. That's a really weird and cryptic thing to say. I don't know if he doesn't know me. I mean, I think he does, but I'm not going to say that he does, definitely. Maybe he knows of me. Perhaps my reputation has preceded me. But look, it could be the fact that he's just an incredibly cocky, 20-something who's a white nationalist. Or, maybe he thinks the circle that he runs with extends all the way up to Donald Trump. Again, he did get invited with Ye. So, look, to say that he doesn't have friends in high places, obviously he seems to. But anyway, you can believe Nick Fuentes, you can believe Donald Trump. Either way, you'd be having to believe one of two awful people. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Because when it comes to down to is the response. So the response from Trump, in all of his defenses, he still avoids actually calling out Fuentes' terrible belief system. And that's the real problem here. Fuentes is a white nationalist. He's an authoritarian. He is a racist. He is a huge anti-Semite. He has called for violence against people. Against the so-called, globalists, right? Which, again, are just a code word for the Jews. And so, yeah, that's really telling that it doesn't say anything wrong about those beliefs. That he doesn't call that out, instead trying to distract the conversation, and make it about how I was helping a very troubled man, and I was telling him not to run for president, and then fake news, all while, he was whining and dining a well-known white nationalist. And again, he wasn't sorry about it. Now, imagine the scandal, by the way, if a Democrat had a dinner with a Black Panther. Look, I actually remember 2011 when Obama was in office, and he had Common, the rapper, come over to the White House and do a little performance. Do you remember that? Remember how much the right wing flipped out? Well, let me give you the reminder, just in case you weren't paying attention back then, because it was 2011. Or if you need a little bit of a refresher, because it was some time ago. During an appearance on Fox News, Sarah Palin, remember her? Here's what she said about Common going to the White House. Oh, the judgment is just so lacking of class and decency, and all that's good about America with an invite like this. They're just inviting someone like me or someone else to ask, come on, Barack Obama, who are you palling around with now? Oh, God. Don't you know? Here's Karl Rove. He said, yes, let's invite a misogynist to the White House, a guy who's called for violence against police officers and called for the killing of the former president of the United States, George W. Bush. This guy is a thug. And why are they inviting him to poetry night at the White House? Why they are inviting him to poetry night at the White House speaks volumes about President Obama and this White House staff. Who was asleep at the vetting desk?
Obama.
Wow. That was the flip out from the right wing about going to the White House. Nick Fuentes is a literal white nationalist who has urged his audience to kill the globalists. Now, again, Trump isn't in the White House. Thank goodness. For now, at least. But wow. And Trump's like, I don't know. This guy, I don't really know him. And where's the rest of, the Republican Party? Now, to be fair, there are some in the Republican Party that have called this out. But as I'm going to tell you, it's really coming from the people who are already against Donald Trump and the establishment. In fact, here you have former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie telling the New York Times on Friday that Trump's dinner makes him an untenable candidate for president. He said, "This is just another example of an awful lack of judgment from Donald Trump," said Christie, who may make his own run for the presidency. And I think that's really, really key. Yeah, if you're going to run against Donald Trump in the Republican primary, at this point, he's trying to capitalize on anti-Trump sentiment within the party. Good luck on that, because again, I don't know if the voters are going to be with you on that. Donors certainly are. The establishment certainly is. And Chris Christie, of course, is the establishment. And so, there's another. Matt Brooks, chief executive of the Republican Jewish Coalition. So I think you can see why he would speak up. Issued a statement, but did so without naming Trump, saying, "We strongly condemn the virulent anti-Semitism of Kanye West and Nick Fuentes, and call on all political leaders to reject their messages of hate and refuse to meet with them." This is after they met with Trump. The Republican Jewish Coalition also retweeted a message from former U.S. Ambassador to Israel, David M. Friedman, telling Trump his meeting with both the anti-Semitic Ye and Fuentes was unacceptable. But what we're seeing here is, except for people who are politically moving against Donald Trump, and of course, ones who are most impacted by anti-Semitism, which would be Republican Jewish Coalition, you don't see a lot of people calling this out on the Republican side. And if they are, they still avoid naming Trump. Cowards. Say his name. Call him out. Oh, but you're afraid to do so. Why would you be afraid to do so? Oh, right. Because turns out you think that you either believe that a lot of the people in the party, that most of the voters are going to reject you for, shaming Donald Trump, naming him and saying, how dare you hang out with white supremacists and, people who are anti-Semitic. Either you believe that you're going to be attacked for that by the base, or you're going to get attacked by the base for doing that. One is again, I don't know. I'm just afraid that it could get a bad reaction, so I don't dare to do it. And the other is it's much more meaningful because I know that I'm going to get a bad reaction, because I know our base is racist, and I know our base is anti-Semitic, and that they believe all these things. So the distinction there is pretty important, I believe. So, look, we have either people who are in the establishment running to run against Trump or Jewish Republicans, but no one else. And it does show you, it does illustrate really that Trump is the de facto head still of the Republican Party, because nobody apparently seems to be strong enough to take him on. Where's Ron DeSantis? Is Ron DeSantis calling this out? He's had for some time now. I haven't seen it. I don't know. Maybe it's because, again, they're all cowards. All right. Move on. Go to the future of the Republican Party. Or at least of the Republican National Committee.
God gave me this platform. I already know I'm going to win. China did our vote. Biden and Harris would say, hey, we're here to protect the country, and resign. Mike Lindell's a conspiracy. But you haven't. Just forget about the evidence. This was attacked.
Mike Pillow is angling for a brand new gig. He wants to be head of the RNC. That's right. Recently, Mike Lindell, the pillow guy, is announcing that he is mulling a challenge to current chair Ronna McDaniel, her re-election, January. Now, Wednesday of last week, Lindell actually put out this video where he's like encouraging people to tell him that he should run.
Guys, if you support me running for against Ronna McDaniel, please email me. I'm not going to be able to email you back, but I want to read all this. I want the feedback. I want to know anything you see negative about it. One of the things I will tell you, there will never, ever stop to get rid of these machines and make this the best elections in world history in our country. We need some, everybody, and I would. I'll step into that if God willing. And
look, and since I showed you, load more comments, boom, and I'm telling you, it's just nonstop coming in. I've never.
I've never. He's going through the comments section and going to make a decision whether to run for an important position based on his own comments from his own website, Frank Speech. Okay. Fun. Again, this is a literal echo chamber in his own website. You might want to do a little bit more of a comprehensive poll among the Republican electorate, by the way. And he still might get overwhelming encouragement to go against the rhino Ronna McDaniel. But at least to do something a little bit more scientific, slightly. Okay, but... And by the way, this also reminds me of one of Elon Musk's Twitter polls. So again, not exactly reflective of the greater internet community. That said, he said, I'm going to pray on it, and I'm going to come back. So that was actually on Wednesday. He then said he was going to make a decision on Monday. Well, it's Monday. So what's his decision? Well, here it is.
I would say, I'm sorry, sir, but my decision's already been made, and I prayed about it, and this is God's will, and this is what I'm doing. And I think I've been straightforward with everyone in this country and the world. When I do my due diligence, and when I go all in, I'm all in.
When I go all in, I'm all in. Look, he's being honest there. Everything I've seen from Mike Pillow, yeah, he's all in. He is still all in the election conspiracy theories. all in on the machines, all in on his little conferences. So yeah, apparently he's going to do it. Now, that was in response, by the way. Steve Bannon asked, okay, what if Donald Trump told you not to do that? When he said, well, obviously, God said, it's God's will. It's God's will. What are you going to do? I was cold. I was cold. Fun. And of course, what is he going to run on? Well, you already know what he's going to run on. According to Lindell, his frustration with McDaniel's leadership started when she acknowledged Biden's victory in the 2020 election. Of course. He said, everyone I've talked to of these state chairs, they need new leadership. Lindell said in an interview with the HuffPost on Friday, I don't know if this is a paid position, nor do I care. I want to help save our country. He then emphasized that the RNC needs to be run like a business, something he says only he knows how to do. It's got to be run like a business. What does that even mean? To run like a business, you have to be selling something. What is the RNC selling? What does the Republican National Committee sell? What kind of product do they have? What kind of service do they offer? How are you going to run something like a business that's not an actual business? What stupidity is this? I mean, look, and by the way, okay, you could say, Jeff, you don't understand. The product that he's selling, America, the politician that's going to defend freedom. Well, it's funny because the Republican message to the American people is we will literally do nothing for you. I mean, okay. Oh, well, I mean, there it is. If you want to sell people on that, oh, wait, they can't, which is why they have to do culture war narratives. Or just lie. But look, then again, if Mike Pillow runs and he wins, then I guess afterwards he could sell RNC branded My Pillows. Why not? Or better yet, if he does win, and maybe I'm rooting for him now, and then loses the defamation suit against, Dominion voting systems and Smartmatic have filed against him, the RNC would be left to pay his legal bills. It's not like, they haven't been paying Donald Trump's bills. And in the wake of all that, maybe they'll go bankrupt. Oh, I'm all in for Mike Pillow. Mike Pillow for RNC chair. Go for it, Mike. Hell yeah. I'm behind you 100%. Got my endorsement. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay. I never thought I'd be rooting for Mike Pillow to win an election. They're strange times. Very strange times. Anyway.
Oh my God! He admitted!
Let's move on. Make fun of Elon Musk. On Monday, Twitter CEO Elon Musk attempted to shame Apple into giving his company more money. Oh, by the way, his failing company, Twitter. Musk sent out a tweet on Monday afternoon accusing tech company Apple of being against freedom of speech for not buying ads on Twitter. So here's the tweet. Apple has mostly stopped advertising on Twitter. Do they hate free speech in America? Yes, that's right. Are you losing advertisers? Have you tried insulting them? That'll bring them back. That's a great idea, Mr. Musk. Yeah, of course. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. Come on, dude. Really? Now, look, I'm going to state the obvious, and I shouldn't have to, but if there are any, Musk stans that are watching, well, then I'm going to actually talk about what the First Amendment really means and what it doesn't. The First Amendment of the United States Constitution does not compel private entities, such as Apple, to subsidize other people's speech through advertising. I mean, it wouldn't be free speech if it was subsidized, would it? Okay. No, the First Amendment, freedom of speech, guarantees that the government cannot arrest or criminally charge you for the act of nonviolent speech. That's what free speech is. And I get tired of having this conversation all the time. When people say, free speech, free speech, free speech. We want free speech on Twitter. You don't have free speech on Twitter. It is a private institution. In fact, right now, if you're on the left, you're getting shadow banned, most likely. And I'll explain what that is later on. But free speech has never existed on Twitter. It still doesn't under Elon Musk. And it never will. That's just not what free speech is. But okay, anyway. That said, you're not entitled for people to do business with you. Simple as that. Okay? Ironically, to force Apple to run ads on Twitter, which I'm not saying that's what he wants to do, but it seems like this is where the argument's going. Well, that would be government overreach, wouldn't it? And maybe even a violation of Apple's free speech. Because, like I said, in this country, the courts have decided that corporations are human beings and that speech, well, that money is speech. Money is considered speech now. And you can think, of course, Citizens United. You think all the other decisions that have ensured that, yes, money is considered speech, corporations are people. As Mitt Romney said, corporations are people, my friend. So under those rules, can you say that Apple has decided to use their own free speech to tell Musk to F off? Unless, of course, they do content moderation, which is what they're looking for. And again, even if we had a normal country, you still shouldn't be able to force companies under the First Amendment to buy ad space on your platform. That's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous idea. And again, I don't know, they don't understand what free speech is. And I know force is not the correct word. I get it. But he really is out there trying to insult and shame a company into doing business with him. And it's ridiculous. Why? Why is that? But it does show you what kind of businessman Elon Musk is. He's essentially a bully. According to an internal 2018 Tesla worker survey of employees at the time, they talked about what it's like to work under this guy, and apparently it's not great. At least when dealing with Elon Musk himself. In fact, here's one worker, what they said in the survey: Tesla is hemorrhaging highly talented, ferociously driven people who truly believe in the company's vision and continue to hope for its success. Elon is a technical leader of the highest order, and yet is widely seen as an unapproachable tyrant who devalues the contributions of the staff and may fire them on a whim, which he's shown by firing people from Twitter via tweet. And I thought only Trump did that. Nope. Turns out Elon Musk, same thing. Very publicly. And this also person says, we treat people, the fundamental unit of the country, like any other expendable resource. I had a friend who worked for Tesla and can also back that up, that it was a toxic workplace. Another worker said that Musk's ego needed to change, while another said that people were being bullied by Elon into making unrealistic commitments. So it shows you who he is. Elon Musk is a man-child who is used to having his way and bullying people into doing what he wants. What do you think he's doing now? Trying to do it to Apple, which, again, I got news for you, Elon. You need Apple a lot more than Apple needs you. Just saying. And I, again, not really in favor of, all the tech monopolies and how much power Apple has, or Google, or, a lot of these other Silicon Valley giants. At this point, Apple has a lot of power here. And Elon Musk is going around making demands. He's writing checks that his ass cannot cash. Are you sure you want to do that? Are you a smart businessman or are you a dumbass? Well, I think we know the answer to that question. Look, Apple is the world's most valuable company. They spend an estimated $131,600 on Twitter ads between November 10th and November 16th. That's $131,600 for 6 days of ads. That's how much money they spend in the platform. And that, by the way, that is why that is after they pulled advertising. Normally they spend $220,800 they spent between October 16th and October 22nd. That is the week before Musk closed the Twitter deal. According to ad measurement firm Pathmatics, that is a lot of money spent in a very small amount of time. And it adds up. It adds up a lot. In fact, ads are 90% of Twitter's revenue. You're not going to make that up from Twitter Blue or yellow or green or whatever he's coming out with next. That is going to pull back. And by the way, earlier this month, Musk claimed that Twitter had seen a massive drop in revenue, which again is true because a lot of these companies were like, we don't know what's going to happen with this platform. I think we're going to pause our ads and see. And there's a good reason for that, by the way. But when that happened, Musk blamed activist groups for pressuring advertisers. Of course, yeah, right. Yes, it's those pesky activist groups and not at all capitalism that is causing these companies to pull their ads. And look, what it's about is Musk not doing content moderation. It's because Musk allowed literal white supremacists back in on the platform. I mean, think about it. If you're working for Kellogg's, if you're an ad person, who does ad buys on different platforms, right? Well, you want to get your ad seen, obviously. So you can sell stuff, you can make more money. It's capitalism 101. Okay. But if you're working for Kellogg's and you're doing the ad department, you're buying ad space for, your cereal, right? But you don't want your ad sandwiched between a tweet from Hitler Boy 1488 talking about how the Jews control the media and a retweet of Thug Killer 69 posting the N-word ad nauseum in all caps. You really don't want to have your Kellogg's ad in between that, do you? No, of course not. That'd be stupid. But guess what? That's what happens when you don't have any content moderation on these platforms. Anything goes. And it turns out companies don't like that. That's why nobody wants to advertise on Gab. Understand that these are corporations that make the decision not to advertise in these platforms that let terrible people onto the platforms and to say whatever they want. There has to be some basic rules here. No hate, hate. No calling people to violence. No ethnic certain, no transphobia or anything like that. That's just basic rules. Or to put it more simply, don't say something online to someone that you wouldn't tell them to their face. Just saying. For fear of getting your lights punched out. I think people have forgotten that. Yes, don't say something online that's going to get you punched out in the real world. It's really simple. Be a little bit, respectful and not a shitlord. But understand who these people are. Elon Musk is a shitlord. And he thinks he can get away with anything because he has gotten away with anything because he's rich. These are corporations, though, that are making the decisions to not advertise not because they're going woke, right? No, it's because they don't want to go broke because their ads are being seen next to people who are saying the most messed up stuff imaginable. That's it. And again, going back to how he's going to make up the shortfall, if all these advertisers continue to leave, continue to bail on the platform, is, well, again, he's not going to make it back from Twitter Blue or Gold. The vast majority of users are not going to pay for a check mark. I'm not going to pay for a check mark. It's stupid. Why? What value and utility do you get out of that? And by the way, the only people that had check marks before Elon Musk were either celebrities, politicians, or journalists. Now, what's interesting is the far right hated the fact that journalists could get verified because in general, they seem to hate journalism. They seem to hate facts. Elon Musk didn't like being picked on, didn't like being made fun of, so his feelings got hurt, and further moved himself into a right-wing echo chamber and started believing everything that they told him that the right was saying about Twitter. Did you know that they're shadow banning? They're silencing conservative voices. They're run by a bunch of pink-haired SJWs. Yeah, they don't even work really at Twitter. Really, they don't. How come they're getting paid? What's funny though is that the very thing that the right complained that the supposed SJWs at Twitter were doing before Musk took over, they're doing now. Musk has actually enacted shadow banning. On November 18th, Musk announced that Twitter's new policy is freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach. He said negative hate tweets will be max deboosted and demonetized, so no ads or other revenue to Twitter. So again, he doesn't understand how his own company works, which is hilarious. Because individual tweets do not get ads. So I don't really know what he's referring to, but there are other questions. Like, for example, what's considered to be a negative tweet? I've seen plenty of tweets that would be considered very negative that continue to be allowed. Transphobic tweets, hate tweets, all these things. Very, very negative stuff. No consequences. But if you criticize Elon Musk, well, I mean, I can see how he takes that as a negative tweet. Which gets to the question of who, decides what is or is not a negative tweet and what should be deboosted or shadow banned. Well, it would be Elon Musk because he's fired pretty much everyone else. Or who or what algorithm would monitor for these negative tweets to deboost them, and how would they do so? And if he ends up hiring more people, which maybe he will, who knows, right? Will there be an official shadow ban council to decide to make these decisions? We don't know. I don't know. I don't think he knows. This is another reason that companies like Apple are pretty much getting close to being done with Twitter. I'm not going to say that Twitter is going to be dead, but it's losing a lot of its appeal, a lot of people, and what it's going to end up with is mostly getting turned into another Gab. Great for, if you're a white nationalist, white supremacist, or generally a horrible person. But if you're an advertiser, that's not a good place for you to be. And if you're a regular person who wants to stay clear of the Nazis, you're not going to be in favor of it either. And so it's going to lose a lot of its user base. And who knows? Maybe that's the point. Maybe not. Who knows what people like Elon Musk? Okay. Oh, geez. Am I out of time already? All right, I'm going to have to do this next story tomorrow. Because it's a long one. Okay. All right, so yeah, we'll save the evangelical pastor leaves MAGA story or criticizes MAGA story. It's a fantastic look into, inside of how religion is really perverting MAGA is really perverting religion and using it. So that's an interesting story. We'll keep that for tomorrow. Put that in my back pocket. And we'll do that. Today, that's all we got. So let's read some, or you do some thanks to people on Twitch. Hype Train, that's pretty awesome. Aurora Sarabeth, thank you for sharing 200 biddies. Appreciate that. S Bloom 85, thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub. And Aurora Sarabeth, again, thank you for gifting 2 tier 1 subs. Appreciate that. And Candy Fox, thank you for subbing for a month of tier 1. This is all on Twitch for 7 months. Let's go to YouTube here. Greg, 11118 or 1118 to say. Thank you for being a member for 3 months. Appreciate that. Love you all, fam. Jeff, you're hilarious. Well, thank you. Thank you. I try a little bit. Slightly. Okay. Anyway. Thank you for running around the nation with me today. Please like and share the stream if you haven't already. Do so. And, you know, I will be back tomorrow, same time, same place, same channel, as always. And thank you. Do a raid before we go. Out the door. Left flank bets. Check that out. Love you all. And remember, change you. Good night, nation.
Beta male. Sexual anarchy. Resurrection of Dr. Pete. Disappointed! Oh yeah.
Peach tree dish. And why their due process rights are being so flagrantly and horrifically violated.
I apologize for nothing. I concede nothing.
You're kicking me out the door. You're kicking me out the door.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.